Okay, Huckleberry Road shop is pretty busy right now. They got the caboose in the back in the wood shop, which is all locked up for the day, but I wanted to show a finished product, but it's not yet. They said by Christmas, hopefully, but they're getting the sides on and hopefully put all the trimming on that you saw stored in on the shelves last year. Just have to add some more paint to it. Here's the Fairmont sphere again. And back there is the Rio Grande caboose 0526, still all torn apart. It doesn't have a lot of room for people in it, so it's a low priority. But maybe in the future we'll see it operating again. 152 and number 7 out there. Get a closer view of that in a few minutes. But number 11 is in here. It's the gas hydrostat locomotive, little 5-ton Plymouth. And it's been got a new radiator in it. The original one was all leaking all over the place. They did some work on the gasoline engine in it. It's International Harvester straight 6. I think they said it's less than 200 horses though. So it's more like just like what Case and International Harvester build today. It's kind of like a tractor on rails. Gas hydrostat, not diesel. Diesel or electric at all. It's basically like your lawnmower or a tractor. Very basic. It needs a new paint job on it. It lasted. It was painted in 1997, so it's lasted up until a couple of years ago, and then it started chipping finally. So we'll see what happens to it, whether it gets painted or not. It is getting in pretty rough shape, but it still operates. And so you got the do not operate car on there, meaning that it's under work. And this is an in-cab view. Seats worn away. The engine was built in 1967 for the Baraboo, Wisconsin ammunition plant out there. It was brought here, like I said, in 1997, and has done a lot of work here ever since. Moves the displays around during Halloween and Christmas, and does track work during the rest of the year. It's a very interesting little locomotive. 5 tons, so you still won't want to be hit by it. And actually in here, I did the update on 152 already. We'll check that out if you get the chance. See outside here, 152's tender. Well, you can't see it because that trailer's in the way, but we got number 3 out here, all in pieces. Got the EBT hopper car and the flat cars that were used with number 11 out in Wisconsin originally. Now used for track maintenance and hauling displays around. Coming into the machine shop now. You remember number 5, the diesel mechanical locomotive that was sitting out on that track with those cars last year. It's now in the shop here, getting a lot of work done on it. As you can see, it's still rusty at the top, but underneath here it's all brown primered. I've actually been told that it is going to be running again, instead of here and there, and maybe sitting in the weeds the rest of the time. So yeah, it's actually going to be, it's got a Caterpillar diesel engine in it, and unlike the locomotives you see out on the main lines everywhere, this is more industrial. It is like I just said, a diesel mechanical locomotive, not a diesel electric. So it's more like a semi-truck on rails. It's got a clutch and a gear shift. I'll show you in here. I think I showed you it last year, but yeah, it's got the fuel tank here. You actually got light in on that side. Let me get over there then. Got the big machines all in here like we got over in Owasso. These are all Army surplus. So these all actually operate too pretty well from what I told. So yeah, you got the big stick there and you got the other one there. I'm guessing that's the clutch. And yeah, you can have another person ride with you. And really the engineer would be sitting on this side. And as you can see from the control valve there's the brakes and the reverser. So yeah, it's different, but it works. Actually, the clutch would be that pedal there. I'm not sure what that one is. You know, there's the gear shift in there. You got your gauges up here, and the window up here in the front is broken. So I think all these windows will need to be replaced anyway. That's why they didn't care when they primered it. They're probably just gonna replace them. Still gotta get the top part though. It needs to have some steel replaced, but I think they're just gotta cover up the controls and sandblast in there, get all that gunk off, all that rust. Yeah, so you got some of the side panels removed, and you can see the Caterpillar engine in there. Very neat looking engine. I think this is a 12-ton Plymouth. Some books say that it's an 18-tonner. I'm not sure. I knew Funaro Camerlengo does a resin model of this in HON3, and I think I'm going to get one as soon as I can. I mean, I'd like to keep my other cars operating on my HON3 layout, but this one, if I get a model of this, I'd like to buy a little motor to go in it, so it will actually run. Yeah, so it'd be nice to actually see this thing running again once they get it going. It's sitting over the pit here in the machine shop, and over here is the drop table. They used to have one in Owasso when they had the old shop, but if we ever get a new shop, not the pole barn that we got now, we'd want to put in a drop table to drop the wheels out on like the 1225. A pit like this would be too small. The lathe that we got is an 80-inch lathe. I don't know how big this one is back here, but it's pretty sizable. It did the back trucks on the 1225. We dropped those out because those wheels are smaller than the drive wheels on the 1225. We took it over to GLC's shop and dropped those out before a train festival, and then trucked them over here and put them on this lathe, and had a new tire turned on it, and they trucked it back to Owasso and put it back under the engine. So this place does contract work for other railroads as well, mostly other tourist lines. You got the bell and the dome covers for the 152. This is one of the air compressors off of it. And coming out here now, we got the other spear, the railroad spear, not the front spear that you saw in the shop. The front spear actually goes in that shed over there. And we got car number 8 outside this year. This one isn't operating because it doesn't have the right trucks, and it needs once we get the trucks for it, it needs some brake work done to it. But this one was actually restored a long time ago. You just can't go out because of that. It would only be for like group trips and people who actually would respect a car like this. It was built in 1875. It's the oldest car here. There's actually a plaque on the end. And you couldn't see it was on it last year, but you couldn't see it due to the lighting inside the cold storage of the shop. So here's the information. You want to pause the video and take that off of it. I actually found a picture of this coach when it was operating in a California narrow gauge book that I found at Michigan State at the Special Collections Library. This car actually weighs, I found out, 13 tons from that book. As you can see, this one has the original duckbill ends on the clear story. The cars like 306 and 320 were rebuilt. You can see on the inside that it still has the duckbill ends in there. They actually did over it, and they put the bullnose ends, which would be the clear story continues over the top portion of the walkway to the end of the car. That's why they call it bullnose, because it's smooth. Like this where it's flat. Going on the inside now, you can actually see inside see how neat this car is, like you did. I think I did the video a couple of years ago where we came inside the car and Bill gave the tour. You can see the blinds are recreations of the original. We don't have those on any of the other cars because it's too ornate. And then we got the old oil lights, which would be set up to run on electricity now. As you can see, the bulbs are in there. And if you go back to the old shop tour video that I did a couple of years ago, you'll see it where it's all lit up in those lanterns. And he mentioned how the etched glass on here was all smashed up when they got the car back originally. It's kind of bright. You can't really see it that well as you did in the earlier video a couple of years ago, but it is a very nice design. They said that there's one original in here that they made a copy for all the other ones on. So very, very rare. And you see these are the openings for like ventilation. The clear story was originally put in on passenger cars for ventilation purposes, to keep smoke and cinders going through the top, especially through tunnels. It would want to come down through the windows, and this, having the air go and a draft that way across, would keep that from happening. Of course, then they put actual windows in it and they sealed it up, so they put these kind of doors in instead. And this one's actually just more of a black one. I don't think that it would continue today because this car has been restored, but there would originally be like an opening back in there. The black is blocking it from coming in directly, but that's how that would work. And this has got the plush ceiling on the side here. It's nice and soft, just like the seats are. They got seats like this in the other cars. These ones originally probably would have been velvet or of a similar material, not this vinyl stuff, which is much tougher, more like you'd find on a bus than on an early train. But it works for here. And that's, even the door plate has the writing on it for Kimball Manufacturing. So that's this car. And on this end, they still didn't put had the coupler on it, but on the other end, in order to pull it around, they installed the knuckle coupler on it. And that's how they hooked up to 112 here, which is going to have some work done to it. As you can see, the step wells have been removed, and it's probably going to need some new platform sheets here on the end. Anyway, yeah, so they installed the coupler and the draft gear on this end of the car so they can move it around with just the regular couplers and not have to hook number 11 onto it with the Lincoln pin, which is kind of what those flat cars over on the side over there, which I'll show you in a moment, or you see in the other video already, which is how they operate. I would just assume put an extension on the top of them with a knuckle coupler, but they work fine as they are because they're small and they wouldn't be as dangerous as like a big car like this having a Lincoln pin. Anyway, number 112, like I said here, has the step wells removed from both ends, and they gotta replace that. I'm actually modeling the 112 and the other home-built cars here, 113 and 104, using some Funaro kits, because these are basically EBT flat cars. They just have the coupler pockets cut off, and then they had the body built on top of it. Originally these were gondolas that were open-air gondolas built on top, and then when they started doing the winter operation, they needed more capacity, so they added the side, the windows, and the roofs onto it. So I'm going to have a lot of work to do if I want to model these cars. I mentioned car number 9 last year. That's actually down the village, so I can't show you it now, but it's down there. It's also a home-built car, but I was corrected in last year's video that it's not an EBT flat car originally. I looked again at it, and that's right. It is actually a flat car from the Diamond Match Company. And these, of course, like I said, are EBT flat cars, and they're the did the full steel frame bodies, not unlike the number 9, which is like these cars, is wood framed with the superstructure on top. That car was actually built later than these cars down here. So modeling that one will be a little bit more difficult than this one. And we got the 464 sitting out here simmering away. Lowered the pressure for now, and for the volunteers out here eating, and get a nice front-on view of it here. Saw it working today over at the station, out on the bridge. Some very rare footage. So yeah, pretty much ends the day here at Crossroads. And this is the Huckleberry Railroad Service Complex, which is removed from the village. It's about a half-mile away down the tracks. The main line's out here. There's the access gate, and you can see how badly the weeds have grown up, but it's even covering the switches, the stands. You can barely see them. You just see the yellow flags on. Yeah, hopefully they get that money for the weed killer. They can take the sprayer out, which is on the other side. Got some more wood here. Well, no, that's not wood. Excuse me. Those are pieces of steel. I'm not sure what that's for. Look like brackets. Someone probably knows what they are. Anyway, yeah, the weed sprayer's down there. Here we got 464's doghouse that goes on the back of the tender. And those are the flat cars down there behind the machine shop. And there's that new building way back there for storage. The other storage buildings on the side were there before. So, here's the friend's shed. And that pretty much takes care of our little tour of the yard here at the Huckleberry Railroad over here in Flint. The only thing is this little shed here for the grease and lubricants and the flammables that are kept away from the shop area. Someone's got a birthday over here. Anyway, so 464 is all ready to go for tomorrow. We'll just back into the shop tonight, and it'll be under a little bit of pressure, and they'll raise it back up tomorrow. They'll take the coal from the covered pile over here, and using the tractor, and take it up that hill, the little embankment, and dump it into the tender. And that's how it'll all go. So, from out here at the Huckleberry Railroad at Crossroads Village in Flint, Michigan, here's your Huckleberry facility update for 2013.